Hi, my name is Richard Hanson, and welcome to With a Song in My Heart.
Welcome. Today's hymn is one beloved of many of us, but it's also one that causes more than a little argument in Anglican circles over the tune. We'll get to that in a moment. The words to the song were written by Cecil Francis Alexander in 1848 and published in a little book called Hymns for Little Children. And certainly it's a hymn that most of us learned, I think, as little children. And most people love it throughout their lives. I've certainly had it requested for baptisms and weddings and funerals and other celebrations of life too. Because it's a hymn, I think, that ties us back to a very simple faith. One rooted in glimpsing God in the beauty of the natural world, God's creation which is covered with God's fingerprints. It is, of course, the hymn, All Things Bright and Beautiful. This is a song we know well, and it's one that celebrates God's creation and the joy we have in experiencing it. I think so many of us would say that we find a closeness to God when we are in the midst of creation, that places of natural beauty that move us can be thin places between the human and the divine, because our eyes can see and our lips can tell how great is God Almighty, who hath made all things well. Now this hymn may well have been inspired by Psalm 104 verses 24-25, which say, O Lord, how manifold are your works, in wisdom you have made them all. The earth is full of your riches. There is the wide sea, wherein there are creeping things innumerable, both small and great. But perhaps it was also inspired by a line from contemporary literature at the time, Samuel Taylor Coleridge's The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, which has a line, He prayeth best who loveth best all things great and small, for the dear God who loveth us, he made and loveth all. It's a lovely echo. Originally, this hymn had 7 verses, and the Anglican hymnal preserves just 4, with one particular one with a Canadian origin that was written to celebrate God's revelation in our particular context, with the beauty of Canada's wilderness, rocks, and the cry of the loon. It has the words, the rocky mountain splendour, the loon's wild haunting call, the great lakes and the prairies, the forest in the fall. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there is often an argument about the tune to this song. It was originally set to a 17th century English folk song, but many of us know it better to a later tune by William Henry Monk, written towards the end of the 19th century. But it is with that original English folk tune that we turn to this hymn today, a hymn that I think serves our church really well in this time when we need to pay more and more attention to the world which God made and has given to us to care for, keeping us mindful of its beauty and its riches. For all things bright and beautiful, let us be thankful.